Hindsight Radio, the place for right knowledge.
Thanks for tuning in to the Truth Tuesday show with your host, Akeem L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing well. I personally am doing great, wonderful, fantastic. Everything's going well. This past weekend was my parents' 50th anniversary. So we threw a celebration for them on Saturday. You know, all the family was there. My parents thought they were just going to a small family-type dinner. And, just, close friends and relatives. And when they got there, it was over 100 people there. You know, we had a live band. We had a DJ and good food, good fellowship. And, everybody that showed up there was sharp. You know, it was good to see all of those melanated folks looking good and dressed up. And I got to say, my sister did an excellent job putting it together. I didn't do a whole lot of work on it. I just, she asked for the money that she needed. I helped with that, and she took care of the rest. She did a very good job. My mother was definitely surprised. My father was surprised. Actually, right before the show, my mother sent me a text. And I'll tell y'all what she said. She said, "Thanks for everything. You made me proud." So, even though my people don't really listen to my show because they're on a different wavelength. They're listening to other things. They have their religious beliefs, and that's okay. That's what they do, and it's working for them, And what I'm doing works for me. We have to start realizing that we can't convince everybody of what we believe in just because we feel like we're woke, we're conscious, we have some special information that everybody needs. Not everybody wants it or is ready for it, and we can't force it down their throat. When they're ready, they'll come to listen to you, I gave a few words there in support of them, letting them know how grateful I was because, the foundation they laid did get me to where I am today. I was raised as Joe's Witness. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable speaking in front of large crowds of people like I do now, traveling all over the country doing that. It was them and that teaching that got me there. Although I don't subscribe to all of it now, like I used to. I have different ways of looking at things. But I can't, like I always say, I can't get rid of that foundation. That foundation is what makes me who I am. And we have to remember that. We should always want to show respect to our parents, our ancestors, the ones that are living and the ones that are alive. That are not living. This is one of the reasons why we as melanated folks have a hard time because we do not show respect to our history, our past, who we were. We have this tendency to condemn our past. And one of the biggest reasons why we lost our heritage is because a lot of our relatives decided to take a benefit from the U.S. government and change their tribal names, change their nationality to a title that was given to them by a government that did not have their best interest in mind. They wanted to steal that land, and this stuff is still going on today. But I got to say, our people are waking up. I was sitting there with my uncle and my aunt at the event, and she was just breaking down history and, all that stuff in the Bible, a lot of that stuff's lies. Jesus is black, and, she was on that trip, and I just was surprised. She woke. She's waking up. And I think the vibration of the planet is people are just naturally coming to realize that a lot of the stuff they have been teaching is not true. It's not making sense. The truth always reveals itself. What's in darkness always comes to light. So just give it time. People will wake up. They'll get there. And remember, we're still trying to get there. I'm still trying to get there with information. So I can't be too upset or, condemn people who are still trying to figure it out. It took me a while to get where I am. So, yeah, man, we had a great time. Oh, great time. My parents got it was the grandchildren, it's only two great grands, and that's my two from my older son. Just to see that, just to have that family atmosphere was great. And it really was uplifting to see, to go back in your past to see where you all started from. Because they put together a video with my parents when they first got married. And by the way, I was at my parents' wedding. I was like 2 or 3 months old at that wedding. And then taking all progression when the children came, and then the grandchildren, great-grands. That was, that really moved them. And they deserved it with all the hard work that they have put in over the years. It was my father that got me started in both my businesses when I had a barbershop. He helped finance that. And not that he's a rich man, but he took the little bit that he had and put his, helped me finance those things without question, without hesitation, And I have to thank my mother. My mother was one of those mothers, she don't believe in raising punks. She would tell you in a minute, hey, you need to, tough it out. She didn't baby me. She didn't baby us like that. And that, I think that's key. I think a lot of nowadays, the women are babying these men, and this is why they can't handle certain situations. They can't handle dealing with men, real men. Like a lot of these guys are running around doing bitchy stuff, bitchy things. Going around talking behind each other's back, throwing stones. Where the person can't defend themselves. Playing games like that. Anyway, my mom didn't raise no punks. She was a very sweet but tough lady. So you ain't gonna go to her with no mess and think you're gonna cry on her shoulder. No, she wasn't like that. What I want to talk about tonight. Title of the show is what? Oh, I have to correct that. I said doesn't work in court. It really should be. Oh, it is. What doesn't work in court? It says that. What doesn't work in court? I'm gonna read your case and show you. I was helping and I had my input on it, but then they had their little input and doing all this other stuff, and they still ended up with problems because I don't know where people they one thing I find with helping people, they ask you for help, but if your answer doesn't line up with what they believe, they won't believe you. I've watched people numerous of times lose their homes, go to jail. And I'll sit there and advise them, don't do that. That's not going to work. Don't do that. That's not going to work. And they do it anyway, and then when they get in problems, you know what they say? Those courts are casting spells. They're doing rituals. They'll say things like, the judge is against me. They're always going after the judge and craziness like that. And when you go after a judge, let me give y'all a tip. You go after a judge like that in a case, he's going to show you who's boss. He's going to come at you. You're not coming correct, and they already know you don't know what you're talking about. You think you know what you're talking about, but they know you don't know what you're talking about. So, I'm going to read a case. Then I'm going to take a few calls, and then I'm going to get off. Reminder, press 1 if you got a question. Also, I've been saying this, but people are not utilizing it, but they still want to email me in my other email and ask questions. That means they don't listen. They don't listen to the show consistently. I've even put it up in my YouTube. If you got questions, this is the email it needs to go to, american.nationals@protonmail.com. american.nationals@protonmail.com. That's American, AMERICAN .nationals, NATIONALS @protonmail.com. Now, here's the rules. Questions will only be answered on the air Tuesday and Thursday. I will not respond by email. So you would have to listen to the show to get your answer. I do not go back and forth with emails, and because you answer one question, they come back with another. What about this? They want to have a, you know what I'm about to say. I'm about to drop the F-bomb on y'all. Consultation through email. Try to eat up your time with their bullshit-ass questions. Because a lot of it is, most of the questions are about YouTube videos they witness. Oh, what do you think it is? And they're trying to build with me on some bullshit. I don't want to care about no YouTube videos. I don't. I do my own study. I read, and I match up the laws, and that's what I pay attention to. One of the reasons why I get so much success, I don't allow other people's words to cloud my judgment. And I don't watch garbage, because a lot of the stuff on YouTube is garbage. It's a bunch of people talking about do this and do that. And as you can see, I'm going to read a case where you will see a lot of that rhetoric, and the judge still wiped his ass with their paperwork and still handed down jail time. Okay? All right. Let me pull up. Let me see if I want to pull up the actual transcript, because I'm going to show y'all something where the judge was actually trying and begging this person to give them an out. Hang on, let me make sure this is it. I mean, I've never seen a judge beg so much. Make sure this is it. Yeah, this is it. All right. I was going to actually read the case. Now, this comes from a situation where the person during a court proceeding thought that it was proper to strike their signature off of a note, and they thought that was going to have some lawful and legal effect through the UCC, and it didn't. It didn't work. It was a good try, but one thing you got to understand: once something is entered into the record from the other side, the adversarial side, as proof of something to prove their case, you cannot tamper with that. That's called destruction of evidence held in custody by the clerk of court. Because once that evidence goes to the clerk of court, it's in their custody, and they have to protect that. And you can be held in contempt for that, as you can see. Here's the transcript. I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to read the basis of the case. So I'll be skipping over where it says names. I'll probably say Jane Doe or something like that. All right, let me just do a quick mic check, make sure everybody can hear me. Give me a second. check the chat. Can y'all hear me out there while I read this? Am I coming in loud and clear? Type a message in the chat if you can. Remember, press 1. There's a few people with their hands up. Once I go through my calls, I'm saying howdy, good night, sayonara, hasta la vista. Thank you, Aaliyah, for that yes. So let's get to it. Y'all going to love this one. Proceedings, the court. That means the judge. We're proceeding now to the second part of the hearing, which is the order scheduling criminal contempt disposition. For the court reporter's benefit, what I am about to say is in writing, and you may receive a copy of it afterwards in case you don't understand. Miss such and such, I think this is the other side or the clerk of court. I apologize. I'm going to since I was only here for 1 and 3. No, that's the other side. That's the court. That's fine, yes, and prepare orders on those if you would. Florida and the U.S. are governments of law, not of men and women. The rule of law at its most basic means that the law applies to everyone equally. It means that no one is above the law. Miss Jane Doe, you claim not to be a citizen of the United States, yet you ask for protection under certain U.S. and Florida statutes and constitutions. You ask for protection for the Americans with Disabilities Act. You cite to 15 U.S.C. Section 77 for authority. You invoke your Fifth Amendment rights. You cite to and rely on the Florida Statutes Uniform Commercial Code, Section 1-207, 1-308, 4A-104, amongst others, and those rights, which are claimed under the Constitution and the laws of the state of the United States and Florida, are laws that have been recognized and your rights have been protected. Now, did y'all notice what he just said? He said your rights have been protected. And he was absolutely right. There's a whole lot more to the sketch. He did. They did protect them. But this person deliberately undid all of that by entering stuff. And I'll read that when I go to the actual stuff that was entered and show you, point it out. Nevertheless, you have made a mockery of the Florida courts and our system of laws in Florida. The defendant denied, so that means this person interrupted the judge while he was talking, denied. The court, you have decided to pick and choose what laws you think apply to you and which laws you will obey. The defendant denied. The court, that's not the way it goes in civilized society. Your actions in front of the court, in this case, you have disparaged, minimized, and belittled the law. The honor of the law must be defended, and that is the reason we are here today. We are here today under Rule 3.830 related to direct criminal contempt and the case law applicable to direct criminal contempt. You were advised at the hearing last week of the conduct the court believes was contemptuous. The court has reviewed all of your recent filings since December in which you addressed the matter of contempt. Do you have at this time any excusing or mitigating circumstances that you want the court to consider in this matter before passing sentence? The defendant, yes, I do. The court, you may be heard at this time. The defendant, I hold the Constitution of the United States of America and its laws to the highest esteem. I do not, and they put a ... I have not made a mockery of them. I do not pick and choose. I am an American national, an Ohio American, Slovenian national, but I am not a citizen of the United States or any derivative of the name. I am not a corporate fiction. I am a living, breathing, peaceful, living, loving woman. See, y'all can kind of tell that this person is reading from something. And you could tell what's mine and what's not mine. What's mine is I am an American national. It wasn't said quite correctly. But I'm not a citizen of the United States or any derivative thereof. That little extra or any, I didn't add that. Now, this is their stuff. I am not a corporate fiction. I am a living, breathing, peaceful, loving woman. I'm not an employee, officer, or elected official of the state of Florida, Inc., or any type of federal employee. See, that stuff right there is what you see on YouTube with the patriots. It's what I call sovereign citizens, or what they call sovereign citizens, normally say. Now, a friend of mine has helped me to realize something. And you'll see when I show you the judge's orders, when they wrote up the order for the arrest, what he said. And you're going to, it's very telling and it's profound. But let me finish here. Living, breathing is not a nationality. Loving woman is not a nationality. It's not a status that any court will recognize. You got cows that live and breathe. You got dogs that live and breathe. Now let's stay on the topics of cows. Cows live and breathe, but yet they still go up to the slaughter every day. And they're peaceful. That doesn't recognize their status. Now, if you got a prize cow or a bull that's a stud, that's not going to get slaughtered. Why? Because its status is different, looked at differently than the others. It has a purpose. It has a place that they can use. Well, I'm going to continue to use this until, to produce more like this one. See, these are not living, breathing, living man, loving, whatever, is not statuses. Okay? It's not nationality. So please stop using it in your paperwork if you don't want to get slammed. All right, here we go. Again, I appear specially, not generally, in sui juris. What does sui juris mean? A lot of people are putting that in their paperwork because they hear this on this other station that says that it's not a blog talk station, but it's another sui juris meaning. Of age independent. So you're telling them, okay, sui juris in law. Sui juris in law, legal definition, is a Latin phrase meaning in one's own right. It means a person who is able to make contracts and sue others or be sued himself. A person, sui juris, is one who is not bankrupt, mentally incapable, or minor, is a legal capacity to manage one's own affairs. So, that's okay, but it says you could be sued by saying that. It's a useless term to me. I wouldn't even put that in my paperwork. I think people just see stuff that sounds great and they put it in there. All right, let's go back. In propria persona, now I will put that. Hereby and forever state claim to declare I am not, nor I have ever been a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, part of the In God We Trust. This is something that they added in God We Trust. And it looks like part of this was a snippet out of my affidavit for the passport. Again, that is me stating respectfully who I am, the court. Now, this is the judge asking again, I'm looking for excusing or mitigating circumstances. Not who you are, but excusing or mitigating circumstances. So the judge is, for a second time, asking this person, tell me something that I can use so I don't have to lock you up. But this person is so stuck on the rhetoric, they can't see it. The defendant, okay, I'm getting in, Your Honor, and it might take me a little while to get there, so if you would, please, the court, the only thing relevant is excusing or mitigating circumstances before I pass sentence. The defendant, first of all, with regards to my response to order to show cause and arraignment on order to show cause by you, judge, that you filed with regards to your paragraph number 1, it's denied. Paragraph on that, you went past the hour of my 88 commendation, or just in general going past an hour is very stressful on me. Even half an hour is very stressful on me, and so I denied that. So he's asking for an excuse, and they're going back into the paperwork. This judge is really patient up until this. He really is. Second, with regards to your response to order to show cause and arraignment, the court, Miss, Jane Doe, I'm familiar with your written papers. I have read them. I have considered them. I consider them as mitigating and excusing circumstances. Did you hear what he just said? He said, I consider them as mitigating and excusing circumstances. Is there anything not in your written papers that you wish to bring to my attention? Anything. And I want to tell y'all what this person simply could have did and it been over with one shot. But let me finish. The defendant, right now, I don't understand what you're saying, and I, the court, have asked you for excusing or mitigating circumstances. Now, how many times is that now? We're talking, I think, about 5 now, right? I don't, the court. The defendant, I don't, the court. Prior to me passing a sentence, so that means there was some interruption going on. The defendant, what would be an example? What would be an example? I don't understand what you're saying. The court, is there anything that would excuse the conduct that occurred in this courtroom on November 25th, 2019? The defendant, okay, I'm getting there. Number 2, admitted based on, so they going back to reading the paperwork. Now, I advise this person to read their paperwork. But of course, there's a lot of stuff they threw in there that I didn't give them to say. But when you see a judge stopping you, say, listen, I read your stuff. Give me something else so we can move on. Then you have to use right judgment. This is what happens when you're not spiritually in tune with what you're doing. When you're solely relying on another person to give you answers. When you're not relying on your power, this is what happens. The Spirit doesn't open up to you. What does the Bible say? It says, do not worry. What you will say in that hour, I will give you the words to say. See, that's a person that's not connected to their spiritual power. See, me, I knew right away. When he first said it, I knew right away what to say. And I'll tell y'all, I'm going to help y'all. But let me keep going. The court, I read that. The defendant, okay, the court, is there anything not in writing that you want to bring to my attention that is to my attention? So, this is like the 6th or 7th time now. The defendant, I'm not an attorney. The court, in writing. And I've reviewed all of that written papers that you have filed, and I've considered that. And will continue to consider anything you wish to tell me about that not been in writing. The defendant, can I have a break, please? The court, you have a 5-minute break. Starts now, 3:13. Defendant, and can I have now they wanted some person that they thought was an expert to help them. Back in the room, please. The court said, you may not. Defendant, what did you ask again? The court, excusing or mitigating circumstances. The defendant, I don't know excusing or mitigating. What do those mean? I know y'all like, what is the world? The court, I've already explained that. Anything that might explain or excuse the contact that I observed in this courtroom on November 25th, 2019. The defendant, I'm going to say John Doe has some of my files that I need. That's the person they wanted to help him, that they thought was going to get him out of trouble. The court, you have 3 minutes to retrieve them during your break. The defendant, I need more than 3 minutes. 3 minutes is not enough. The court, 3 minutes is running. The defendant, Your Honor, have you read my ADA accommodations? So they're reverting back to some ADA accommodations. That's where a person who has mental issues, they get more time. That's like, if I can use an example, it's like when you're in school and some students need more time. It's called special education. That's what that is. That's what ADA accommodations can be compared to. All right? You get special times that you can have your court. They don't hold court in the morning. You get little things, but it helps you, fight your case, but it doesn't help you win, right? So, but this person wants to rely on that. But here we go. Absolutely. I entered an order on your ADA accommodations. Have you read my order? Of course they didn't. I do not recognize that order because you took away all my needs. I'm not an attorney. I don't know legalese. My vision is all. I still do not understand excusing and mitigating. The court, anything that would excuse or explain why you use a pen to strike through your signature on the original note when you were here November 25th, 2019. The defendant, I was following the law. There's no contempt before the court. There was no order given to me to not do that, and I have. There's another file somewhere that I did not. There was no contempt that occurred. And there's a statute that defines what contempt really is with the alleged original promissory note. Exhibit. It was in Exhibit 4 was not signed by defendant. This was an alleged original signed mortgage, color copy, or note. There was no one present at the proceedings who had firsthand knowledge, meaning anyone who witnessed myself sign. The court, I have read that. That doesn't explain why you use your pen to strike through the signature. The defendant, I was following law. I was following Florida statutes. There was no willful contempt, and it was not my intention. Now, you notice this person never used the Constitution, not once, in any of these responses, except it started off that way, but then it never quoted anything, nothing. Contempt of court is defined as criminal contempt involved contempt with the objective to obstruct justice, such as threatening a judge or witness or disobeying in order to produce evidence. I was not advised not to make any markings on the exhibits presented. This was a private contract. I was exercising my private right pursuant to Constitution, State of Florida, Article 1, Declarations of Rights, Section 1. All natural persons, female and male alike, are equal before the law and have inalienable rights, which are the right to enjoy and defend life, liberty, to pursue happiness, to be rewarded for industry, and to acquire, possess, and protect property. Now they're talking the Constitution. Now they're actually talking about what I gave them. No person shall be deprived of any right because of race, religion, national origin, or physical disability. Therefore, I did not willfully disobey or willfully disrespect the court. I ask that the court to forgive me pursuant to King James Version of the Holy Bible, Colossians 3:13, for being one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye so. And also with due process, there was no, in the court, shuts it down. He says, it's interesting that you have quoted a verse from the Bible, Colossians 3:13, written by Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul also writes the book of Romans. And Romans 13:1 tells us that let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists that God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. I'm required by case law concerning criminal contempt to read what I believe to be contemptuous. Let me stop right there. Now, this judge is adept in the Bible. And I really believe this judge was trying to be fair. Now, if he'd have said that to me, when he read that off, then I would say, yes, governments are under the subjection of God, and that they wouldn't be in existence without his authority. Like you say, I agree. But one must remember the governing principles of the Bible, and the whole reason why Christ came to this earth was to give us all grace. And today, I'm asking the court to give me grace. And that's what the judge was looking for. That's all he was looking for. And it would not have gotten time. But let me finish. Number one, on November 25th, 2019, this court convened the first hour of the non-jury trial in this mortgage foreclosure case. And there was a record of the proceeding taken and maintained by court reporter and video footage recorded by courtroom security cameras. That footnoted, but both the transcript and the video will be filed with the clerk. Number two, during the direct examination of the plaintiff's representative, plaintiff's number 4 was identified as the original promissory note signed by defendant Jane Doe. 3, the original note and mortgage were presented to the defendant Jane Doe for inspection. While the defendant was examining the original note, she took a pen and drew a line across the signature on page 4 of the note. Number 4, at the time the defendant crossed through her signature on the note, she also made statements on the record that she struck the note cited to UCC 3-604A. and stated she was to hold it in due course, suggesting that the debt was no longer owed. Footnotes to UCC 3-604 and its codification in Florida of 3.6041 Florida statute and relates to how a person entitled to enforce a note may discharge the obligation. Sounds familiar? Business with some people teaching y'all to do, how y'all are supposed to discharge. And give me one person who's been able to be successful. Right now, you see a bona fide evidence of somebody who was not successful trying that mess. It does not give authority to the obliger to cancel a discharge note by striking out her or his signature. The defendant denied in interrupting the judge. The court. Number 5, the defendant denied it does. The court. Defendant Jane Doe also stated there's no contract. Number 6, defendant Jane Doe believed that by striking her signature, she could discharge the obligation to HSBC Bank to pay the note. Her actions were willful, intentional, and contemptuous with the goal of eliminating her debt to HSBC Bank. The defendant denied. I am allowed to. The court. Number 7, defendant Jane Doe defaced and altered trial exhibits that were in the custody of the court. Number 8, defendant Jane Doe attempted to destroy evidence in the court proceeding. The defendant denied. The court. Number 9, defendant Jane Doe hindered and obstructed the administration of justice during the non-jury trial, in this case, by the actions she took on November 25th, 2019. The defendant denied, so she's constantly interrupting the judge. The court. Number 10, all of the above described conduct by defendant Jane Doe occurred in the presence of the undersigned circuit court judge. Based upon foregoing, it is adjudged as follows. Number 1, defendant Jane Doe is guilty of direct criminal contempt of court. The defendant denied. The court. Number 2, defendant Jane Doe shall be confined in, I'm not going to say the jail, for direct criminal contempt. Number 3, defendant Jane Doe shall be confined in jail for a period of 5 days. The defendant, I do not consent. The court. Number 4, on Monday, January 20th, 2020, that's next Monday, between the hours of 9 a.m. and noon, the defendant Jane Doe must report to the lobby of the jail located at the address and surrender to serve a period of confinement, a jail sentence described in paragraph 3 above. Number 5, should Jane Doe fail to report and surrender on the above date and time, defendant shall be arrested by the sheriff of the county and taken into custody for direct criminal contempt of court, confined in the county to serve the period of confinement described in paragraph 3 above. The defendant, I do not consent to being sentenced. Y'all hear this old patriot bullshit? The court. Number 4, defendant Jane Doe shall perform a total of 0 community service hours. Defendant, I do not consent. The court. To be completed 6 months of the date of disorder. The defendant, I do not. The court ordered in Tampa Hill, Florida, this January 15, 2020, signed by the judge. The defendant, do you have a claim against me? Does the lawyer have a claim against me? Okay. And then there are no claims against me, and any outstanding claims are herein accepted for value, and I request you release the order of the court to me immediately. Being as there is no further business for the court and I am free to go, it is all accepted for value. The court, Miss Blank, this is the order that I have just entered and read to her. Defendant, do you have a claim against me? The court, present that to her. The defendant, no, I do not accept. No. The court, you don't have to accept it, but you better understand it, because if you're not there on Monday, you'll be arrested in circumstances you may not like, and you will be remanded to the county jail at that time. The defendant, I do not consent to being sentenced. The court, at this time, this hearing is concluded. Thank you. Now, do y'all see what not to do in these courts? Now, if they'd have stayed on the path of what I set out for them to say and what to do, because I told them, just go write a letter to the judge and ask for forgiveness. Do y'all know that is a lawful thing to do? You can get out just by saying forgiveness. Because why? They have ordained the Bible, the Word of God. And he actually quoted the Bible in the case. So because he opened the door to the whole authorities and government and stuff, then he opened the door for you to defend yourself by saying, hey, I just asked for grace. Those are the extenuating circumstances that I'm asking for today. And apologize for disrespecting the court. And that's all I told him. I said, do that. Just do that. You will not get the sentence. Now, the original thing they were trying to get him was for 5 months and 29 days. And they was only giving him 5 days. That means this judge really didn't want to send this person off to jail. But because they kept being disrespectful to the court, he said, have it. You can have it. Now, let me read to y'all the order. The order. That's the judge. Okay, I'm trying to do this before my daughter calls. Let me check the chat. Make sure we're good. All right. Good. Let me go. I'm going to pull up the order, and I'm going to show you how the judge played, letting them know that whole living woman stuff is garbage. See, but when you don't study and you depend on everybody else for answers, and I warned them, you must study. You must go in there and understand what you're doing. You got to. You can't just go in there winging it. But when they take, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, think they're smarter, hey, you got you got what all right, here's the order. Let's see, let's read it. Make sure this is the right one. Here it is. Order to take defendant Jane Doe into custody for direct criminal contempt of court. This cause came before the court on January 21st, 2020, upon an order of criminal contempt, an order of arrest for criminal contempt entered January 16, 2020. The order of arrest after the defendant Jane Doe basically failed to turn herself in at the jail on January 20th, as ordered. Defendant Jane Doe failed to comply with the order of arrest dated January 16, 2020. Accordingly, it is adjudged that the county sheriff's office taking into custody the defendant Jane Doe, a.k.a. Jane Doe, a.k.a. using every derivative of the name, had they had typed out, a living, peaceful, breathing woman of God, DBA Jane Doe, a white female, and they put the date of birth, this 21st day of January 2020. Do you see how the judge played it? You notice, now in the paperwork, how I styled it, let me see, let me find it. Try to do this, it's going to call in about 2 minutes. I think this is it. I'm going to show you how I styled my responses. If I have time, I'll give y'all a notice of appearance, something to do in the other half. Where is it? Speaking from judgment. Give me a second. It's taking me a minute because I want to read exactly how I styled it, and then they change it up. Okay, this is it. All right. No, this is not it. Man. Okay, this is it. Finally. My bad, y'all. All right. Comes now Jane Doe doing business as a Ohioan American Slovenian national, but not a citizen of the United States. That's where I stopped. And then they added in all this derivative, living, peaceful woman stuff. Then they added a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's basically how I style stuff. right there at the beginning. I let them know what the status of what your nationality is right off the gate. Why? Because the judge, those courts handle U.S. citizens. And you know he was being extra careful because that was in there. But he was testing to see if this person knew what they were doing. You see? When you see, if you ask me to help you and you take side roads, I can't tell you what's going to happen. You want to add in your little spill, then you get what you asked for. So, there you have it, y'all. That's what not to do in a courtroom. Assert your status properly, then you attack the merits of the case. They always make mistakes. Because why? This was a victimless, this is just nobody victim involved. And they didn't have to go to jail if they just followed direction. So with that being said, about time for my daughter to come in. I hope y'all learned something from that. And if I have time, I'm gonna come back and show you how to update that notice of appearance. All right, peace. I'll be right back.
Stay right there. Stay right there. You are listening to Hindsight Radio.
Peace. I'm back. All right. So y'all heard the case. It was ridiculous. Something else I wanted to add to that. So this person thought they could strike the signature off the note. Now, the way I was trying to help them attack the case was all the evidence that the plaintiff was using was unsworn affidavit, unsworn statements. So if you're attacking your case that way, then you striking your signature off the note contradicts that, because you're saying you're giving credibility to the evidence. Well, I'm taking my signature off this note. See, that's a person who is double-minded, don't know which way to go. And the one thing that's so dangerous when you're dealing with a person who really thinks they know when they don't know, that's a dangerous person. It's a danger to themselves and everyone around them. And, constantly, this is just one incident. I just gave you this. Constantly going sideways and getting the same result, getting shut down. The only way you're going to get out of your situation is through proper diligent study and understanding the rules of the game. And obviously, this person didn't even understand the basics, didn't even understand or overstand what the judge was saying. Give me something. Tell me something that's not in your paperwork. Let me hear. He was actually asking, let me hear this in your own words. I know you didn't write that. I know you didn't do this. I want to hear from you. And he's probably saying, she's being misled. I want to help her. But she didn't see it. She saw him as an adversary. These courts are not always against you guys. They're not. All right. Reminder. Put your hands up if you got a question. If you put your hand up. Make sure that you give me your positive situations going on in your life before you get to your question. Keep that in mind. Right now, it's not that many hands up. I guess I'm doing a good job, because I tell you, when I'm done, I'm done. All right. 502-439.
What's going on, King?
Hey, what's going on? Peace.
Huh? You doing all right?
Peace. What's going on? I'm doing good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
That's great, man.
Man, your show hit right on point, man. I helped somebody they had to go to court for debt collection lawsuit. So
right.
I told them exactly what to do.
Hold on a second. You got to tell me what's positive going on first. I got to keep to the rules.
Oh, what's positive going on?
You my boy.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a free man now. I got divorced. Cost me $40,000 I had to give her, but hey, that was $40,000 that was worth it. But
right.
Yeah, that's positive. I'm
that's
happy
a good way of looking at it.
and I'm free. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm alive.
Good.
Yes,
good.
sir.
All right, now what you were saying about court?
I helped the guy. He called me, and he had to go to court for debt collection lawsuit. All these lawsuits are just standard garbage. And I told him exactly what to do, exactly what to say. So he went to court, and he called me and said, I lost. And I'm like, what do you mean you lost? He's like, well, I refused to cross the bar. I said, dude. And I got this. I said, why the hell are you on the phone with me? I told you what to say. You would have won. But he refused to cross the bar, so they ruled against him, got a default judgment.
Right. He didn't come to the fight.
Right.
They don't want to cross the bar. And they don't understand that civil and criminal is different. They're not trying to lock you up for a civil thing. You got to go in there and fight that. That person is claiming to be a victim. You owe them money. You got to fight it.
People call you for help, and people call you for help and then don't trust what you tell them to do. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's because he was scared. He didn't want to say what you want to say. He didn't have the power within him to do it.
Right. And I told him, they're not going to lock you up. This is debt collection. But,
watch too much television. Watch too much YouTube.
He refused to cross the bar. I said, well, you wasn't there.
Now, this person that I'm talking about had some so-called more in there trying to help him. Right? Having this guy speak, like the week before, she had this guy try to speak for her, and the judge shut him down. And he talked about he going to go after the judge's bond, threaten the judge in the courtroom. I didn't read that transcript. I said, listen, let me tell you something. You brought somebody into the courtroom. First of all, this is a Christian woman. She into Christian stuff, And she brought a Moor who is not a Christian to help her. I said, you brought somebody in the courtroom, number one, to defend you that don't even have the same beliefs you got. Number two, he don't know what he's talking about. He threatened a judge in the court about going after his bonds. What do you think that judge is going to do?
Oh, he's going to get pissed off.
Right.
He's going to come for him.
Now, this is just a simple foreclosure case that turned out to her going to jail.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
this is me talking. This is my opinion, Akeem. Has nothing to do with you or your show. Most of these Moors teaching on this YouTube and out here with all this knowledge are idiots. They bumbling fools.
I would agree.
They bumbling.
I would
fools.
agree.
And I none of that stuff that they, going into court with the Treaty of Verona. They don't want to hear that shit.
No. Now,
I'm just
did you see how the judge hit the order and said take the living, breathing, loving woman to jail?
I can't tell you how many
you
people
see that?
they want to keep using this sovereign citizen crap. It does not work. It don't work.
Right. And now you notice he didn't say take the American national but not a citizen of the United States to jail. He didn't say that.
Exactly.
That was in our paperwork too. He only took to jail when he had jurisdiction over.
Man, I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
And I know you did. Man, people call and you tell them what to do, and they keep want to bring up all of this other garbage. I'm like, leave that stuff alone. Get that out of your head.
Right.
But they don't.
You know how many times
I guess they think because
it's
on YouTube, it's real.
So even after all of that, something else happened. Well, I'm going to go accept that for value too. I'm like,
right.
I said, don't do that. I ain't going to do shit. They don't get it. And when they said that, I said, you know what? Do what you want. Do what the hell you want. Don't call me no more. Don't bother me.
Yep.
I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Like, You keep talking about
because it's like, why'd you call in the first place?
You've been using accepted value through your whole case, and your house still got taken. The house was sold the other day. Still got taken. It didn't stop anything. And that's what I'm just trying to do. Listen, what I realized, telling the truth is not popular to people. They don't want to hear it. They don't want it. It's not. They like that crazy stuff for some reason. So that tells me if you have an affinity for the stuff that's a lie, then you're a liar. You're attracted to what you are.
Yep.
You understand?
All of that free, living, breathing, soul, free flesh and blood man. These courts don't give a damn. They could care less.
No.
You remember I got locked up a few years ago. I found this school on YouTube. Gonna help me with my child support case, and I went into court with all of that mess. I ended up in handcuffs downstairs, and my judge was cool. At the end of the day, he brought me upstairs, and he told me straight up, he's like, you can't use all of that in these courtrooms. He said, I understand what you're trying to do. He said, you've been paying your child support. He said, I was not going to give this woman an increase because you've been doing what you're supposed to do. He's like, but I couldn't let you do that in my courtroom. I was using all that crap from this damn dumbass Moore, a dumbass Moore, and Omar Bay right here. I said it. Come for me. 90% of y'all are fools out here, and you're getting people messed up. They're getting people's houses taken. They get. Oh God! Man, it's sad what's going on.
Yeah.
You got some dumbass who didn't finish 10th grade, and then now they all these experts because they wearing one of them damn fists. It don't mean shit.
Right. You know what?
It's just sickening.
I'm sure there's some decent Moors out there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rock out there.
I'm sure there's some decent Moors out there, but a lot of these Moors are giving these decent Moors a bad rap.
Bad name.
A very bad rap. And I haven't come across one person out here calling themselves a Moor, I'm a Moor, wearing their fezzes, that had legitimate information.
They're few and far between.
Not one.
You know, and I like Taj Tariq Bey. You know, he gets locked up all the time. Using the crap he's talking about.
You know, hey, yeah.
Come on,
you hit them
man.
hard, Omar.
I mean, I don't.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. You're not lying.
They confusing our people, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Taj Tariq Bey. I mean, he gets locked up. Police lock him up. Bet he won't tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they gotta look at the students. They get locked up.
Exactly.
Look at the students. They get locked up. So if the students get locked up, that means the teacher getting locked up and having some issues too. You know,
and you know who they get? They get people who are new and they're trying to learn, because I got all that garbage paperwork at home. Sometimes I pull it out and look at it, and I'll be like, I was a dumbass. You know, and I put that stuff on the record down there.
You know what, brother?
Just dumb as hell.
You and me both. Hey, brother, you know who I traveled with. Come and find out, that whole thing was a farce. The whole one big sham. Just talk. No proof or nothing. Just talk. You know, a lot of people think I'm just talking right now, but I have the proof that it was a sham.
They don't change your life at all. You can go file all the UCC whatever. That whole that whole secure party process. That stuff is garbage, and I tell people, you can't find one person that can show that SPC process changed their life. Not one. I'll put $10,000 up that nobody can show me that it's changed their life.
Mm-mm.
And I got 10 stacks. Come get it. But anyway, I'm sorry. This is my opinion.
I have challenged the whole district. I did a video on YouTube challenging. Listen, show me you did discharge this way, and I'll get on and make a public apology. And nobody has yet to come. Now, thousands of people that saw that video have yet to come and show me any proof yet.
Namely,
the person who saw it.
I had a whore that I was dealing with, and he had a radio show several years ago. And me and him was cool. And he was making all these boasts and claims. And he called me one day and asked me to call into the show and play like what he's talking about worked for me. Yes, he did. This was several years ago.
Great. So he's begging you to give him a testimony.
Yeah, a fake testimony for something that didn't happen. And guess what?
Wow.
I almost got my house taken with his information. Yep. So it just, hey, you know,
I remember when you was going through that. I remember when you went through that. I remember that.
And Akeem, you've always been solid. And the thing I liked about you, Akeem, that you always do the right thing.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
That's why you was always solid.
And I'll tell you. Yeah. Now, what I want you to let these people know, how did you get out of that situation? What did you do?
With my house?
I remember you was on the verge. They were coming to get it. You
I
saved your house. How did you save it?
Bankruptcy.
Filed bankruptcy.
And then I did a modification.
You got to do the modification. There you go. Went back.
That's what happened. I mean, it's very difficult to win a mortgage, to win your house. You're not going to get your house free and clear. It ain't going to happen. I don't care what nobody tells anybody.
Y'all need to go read that Credit River case. The higher court, a lower court gave a guy a house. It was a lawyer. They gave that lawyer their house, and then the higher court came and took it back and said that was basically messing with the monetary system.
Yep. I had that
AKA,
lawyer before he died.
National Security.
The lawyer that I used before he died, he told me straight up. He said, "Look," he said, "these arguments you're making, they're correct." He said, "But guess what?" He said, "That judge is paying a mortgage, and all he sees is you coming in here trying to get out of your mortgage." He said, "It'll never happen." He said, "What we can do, we can get them to renegotiate your mortgage." He's like, "But they're not going to give you that house." He said, "No judge is going to put his name on any paperwork giving you your house free and clear. They'll kill him." That's what he told me.
Well, that's what happened in that Credit River case. That judge that gave that dude that house ended up dying.
Yes, a lawyer told me that. A white dude lawyer. He told me straight up. No judge will ever put his name on any paperwork giving anybody their house free and clear. It'll never happen. They will kill him. That's what he told me. You know? So, hey.
Now, I've seen people win by some type of fair debt collection egregious
something like that.
Mistake. But other than that, nah. You're not going to go in there with those arguments to note this and note that and win these houses. You're not.
They don't give a damn about the note. Yep.
They don't care.
Hey, Akeem, but I'm going to let some other people get in, man. I'm enjoying the show. And again, everything I said is my opinion. Has nothing to do with Akeem. It's me and me only.
Man, I appreciate you saying that because you know they're going to think you were colluded, right? Yeah. I didn't even know you were getting on. All right, brother. All right. Right, y'all, man. Stop following this bull. Listen, it's 2020. It's time to, hindsight is 2020. It's time to be real about these things. Stop chasing these pie-in-the-sky dreams. There's no such thing as getting something for nothing. I don't know if something is wrong with my phone lines because all I had was Omar with his hands up, and I got a lot of callers. So either I'm answering all of y'all questions, y'all don't have any questions. I'm going to give it one more shout-out. Do y'all have anybody put their hand up? If that's the case, I'm going to move on and enjoy the rest of my Tuesday evening. Oh, somebody put their hand up. Oh, there you go. 310-403.
Yo, peace. What's up, Hakeem?
Peace. What's going on? What's going on, brother?
Man,
How's everything going? How's your life? Everything good?
Yeah, it's going great, man. Got the Born Day coming up Sunday, so enjoying life, man. And
happy Born Day. Enjoy it, man.
Yep.
Celebrate.
Yep. No doubt.
All right.
No doubt. Definitely gonna do that. But yeah, things are going good, man. I'm learning new information every day, man. So I'm happy. Getting better.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just chimed in because I thought I heard you mention you were thinking about giving us the update on the notice of appearance or something like that.
Oh so I almost forgot about
you could break that off.
Reminded me.
Yeah.
I will break that off as soon as we finish this. I take your call. I'll go and break it down. It's not gonna be too long. My stuff don't be long. It just be, I just say what it is. And y'all better take notes.
Right.
You got anything else to say?
No, that was pretty much the main thing. You left me hanging on that.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna break it down. I'm All right. I'm gonna mute you out. I'm gonna break it down. All right. Peace. All right. Let's pull this up. Let me pull up. And it's very. Actually, I do a notice of appearance in everything that I do. And every filing, and I say, and here's the notice of appearance. All you gotta do is style notice. Notice of appearance. Comes now. Last name, comma, first name. All lowercase. Doing business as. Well, no. Let me start over. Comes now. Last name, comma, first name, all lowercase. A New Yorker, American national, but not a citizen of the United States. Doing business as, all caps. Last name, first name. Doing business as, first name, last. If you got a middle, plug it in there. Hereby enters this notice of appearance. See Exhibit A attached here too. Exhibit A is going to be what? If you have done your passport, like I told you, like I taught everybody, you're going to put a copy of your passport card, front and back, as an exhibit, along with your certified copy of your records, your passport records. Boom. And the court shall recognize me as an American national, but not a citizen of the United States. What word would I want to use? I'm kind of ad-libbing here. Now and forever. The end. You don't put the end, of course. You respectfully submit it. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. And nothing else. You can put, y'all can ad-lib the last part. But there you go. There's your notice of appearance. Okay? Now, what I want you to do with those copies, and which at the end of it, always put your unsworn declaration, according to 28 U.S.C. 1746-1, subsection 1. That's without the United States. Sworn, blah, blah, blah. But also, I want y'all to put without prejudice. All rights reserved without prejudice. Where you sign that, right on your paperwork. And also stamp that on your copies as well. If you have a stamp, I would recommend you guys get a stamp. I'm not sure of the document base. I know she was going to be ordering those, and that was going to be a product she was going to be selling. You need to check her out. She might have them available. You can go buy those stamps from her. All rights reserved. Actually, let me pull my passport out because I have to actually have my passport stamped that way. They open that up and they see that and they, have a nice day. It says stamp all rights reserved without prejudice, comma, non-assumptive, without the United States, 28 U.S.C. 1746, subsection 1. She should have that. I know she, at the last seminar, she took notes on that, and she was going to order them. So documentdays.com should have that for you. Let me go back to the phone line. 715-501.
Hakeem. How you doing, Hakeem?
Peace. What's going on, Marco? What's going on?
Just listening to you. I'm no way an expert at court. You know, I learned what you teach. You know, I don't have a lot of court experience. I know you used to have on your site a link that you can, go through. This guy teaches you about court and stuff like that. I don't see it on your site no more.
I got to update it. I don't know why I took it off. It should have been there. Hang on.
It's like something about freedom or something like that. You click on it and it just takes you to the homepage.
Oh, I must have took the link off. I did some updates and it is missing. Wait a minute. Go here. Oh, it's still there. Go to the first page. Like when you go to akimel.com, the first thing that pops up is Akimel. Hit the arrows to the right, and it's going to say how to win in court. Click that, and then click the link, and it'll take you there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's $250. That gives you a year of access, and then you renew it every year at $89.
And you said that's how you learned about this stuff?
Yes. That's what I got my skills in fighting cases.
Oh, cool.
I'm giving y'all what I use.
I need to do that for sure.
Yeah, I'm giving y'all what I use. Now, the other templates and stuff like that are based off of those strategies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I know people need to move right away. He's got a lot of videos. There's a lot of stuff to go through. So that's the stuff is short and sweet. When some of these people's filings are 16 pages long. You know,
man. Yeah, I gotta get smart in that, man. Because if anything were ever to go down, I want to be prepared.
Right.
I don't want to start stupid like this person that came into court.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Man.
Don't you think that judge was trying to help him? Don't you think the judge was trying to help him? Like, and all he had to say,
just ask for forgiveness.
He handed that on a platter. A platter. He was giving like, here, listen. Yeah, stranger used that, and then he quoted scripture, and I would say, you know what? One of the founding principles of the Bible, and the whole reason why Jesus came here, is for grace. So forgive us, because we do err at sometimes. Oh,
he knew his Bible too.
I kept my mouth shut. Yes, he did.
I would not have said nothing.
I liked him. I wanted to.
Yeah. That's crazy. These judges know the Bible. Yeah, that's crazy.
And he told her all your rights have been granted.
You got all your rights.
Have been granted. Now,
what do you want?
All he was doing was putting her to the test. Let me hear what you got to say in your own words. Because I know you didn't write that. I know that's not your words. I know. See, that's a person that wasn't reading that stuff and embodying what they had. They were looking for information from all over places and thought that there was a silver bullet from somebody else instead of trust. Now, I've had extensive conversations with this person and told them, listen, the only thing that's going to help you win, put down all of that trying to do paperwork and get quiet and wait on the Holy Spirit to give you the word. You'll get it.
Why would they sway from what you said?
Because they didn't. Because
they didn't have faith. They didn't trust.
They were talking Bible, but wasn't Bible. They were talking spirituality, but they wasn't spiritual. It was
they didn't know the Bible.
It's a game. Now, remember I told y'all, you was at the other seminar when I said I created a whole new affidavit for the pastor based off the Bible, right? That's the person that I created it for. That's the person. And they got their passport within 8-9 days. Let me tell you the spiritual implications here. You just did your passport, surrendered that to the Department of State that this is who you are. Now, you get tested by your own words.
Yeah. Do you know what you're putting on that paper? Do you?
Right.
Yeah.
You tested now. Oh, you got your passport. Okay, now stand on it. Didn't even know how to do it.
Can't defend it.
Now,
Can't even defend it.
Now, what I didn't tell y'all, finally, after all of the BS, this is why I'm telling y'all about the notice of appearance, because I told them to do this when it first happened, and they didn't listen. So the court entered the order for them to do the 5 days, right? They didn't show up, so they entered another order to be picked up, and I said, only thing that's might help you is do a notice of appearance and put a copy of your passport on the record, along with the certified record.
That could have shut it down right there.
You know what
happened? Do it.
They moved the case off the docket. They moved the court off the docket.
Huh.
They removed it. Right now, check it out. They got a little bit too happy. They got a little bit too happy. I'm on the phone with them. Got a little bit too happy.
So they thought it was dismissed or something.
But no. It was removed, right? The day hadn't finished out. They went and filed some other dumbass paperwork, and guess what? They put it right back.
Oh, man. Talk about you want to get locked up, man.
Right.
Oh,
they went and did
man.
something else. Except
put your ass right back in.
To that effect. I can take you through the case and show you.
Oh, man.
They removed it.
Oh,
they
man.
removed it. And you couldn't even. It was like with my son's case. It disappeared. It wasn't even there. You couldn't find it. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I went and checked this morning, and I saw that they had filed some other off the wall paperwork. And I went back. It was back on the docket.
Man.
See, they went back into jurisdiction. It's all about jurisdiction. You took the jurisdiction away, and then you gave it right back to them with something else.
You put them right back in. Yep.
I understand that. See, you can't help some of these
people. You can't be hot and cold. You can't be lukewarm.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to be
double-minded.
Yep. You can be
double-minded.
Hot or cold. Yeah. Another thing I was going to ask you, too, about the trust, the 3 trusts. When you going to put that on your site or information on that?
That's not. I'm going to be giving y'all the. Trust me, the membership site is just about ready. Everybody, you're included in that. Everybody that did the $1,500 or higher package with me will be on that membership. It's not a fee. You don't have to pay me a fee to be a part of it. So I'm going to introduce you to the guy with the trust information.
Okay, cool.
And what's good about I just had a great conversation with him today. The original person I was going to use do the trust, I had to back off of him. He was good trust, but he was some stuff.
Your spirit told you something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Your spirit told you.
Yeah. I went to London and got a call and somebody, and he was talking about something I didn't agree with. Not going to go into those details. But I thought the person I'm going to be introducing y'all to show y'all how to do y'all trust, he creates the trust, and he also gets the EINs for the trust. So you will not have to connect your social to it. He does all of that included with the trust. And these trusts are set up and designed so that you can properly file your 1041s.
Oh, nice. Oh, man, that's
now this
golden,
brother's been doing it 20 years plus. He's got it. He's been doing it. Listen, I don't put nobody in harm's way. So this and when I looked at the whole situation, this is what you're supposed to do anyway. It's all legit.
It's the way they're supposed to do
it. When you're operating out of trust, you do the tax return. It is a 1041 tax return. But you're supposed to. What people are not doing, they're not properly noticing the IRS of all of their expenses before they do the return. These guys these so-called gurus on the 1041s are just doing an empty 1041. What I mean by empty, they don't have any supporting documents going with these 1041s.
Oh, yeah, then. That's a red flag to the IRS.
Right. So
they'll see that right away.
That I got all of these things going on, and I did this and that, but I didn't notice the businesses. It's just like this. Okay, you work for an employer. He gives you what at the end of the year? A W-2, showing all of the money he's paid and what the taxes came out. You have to. This is an entity. You have to operate the same way as they do. Whenever you're doing businesses, you got a guy doing your lawns. You got to issue him a 1099.
Got you.
You go buy a car from a car dealership. That's a taxable event. You got to issue them a 1099 and have it all in before January 31st. The reason why people were getting hooked up with the 1041s is this: they're doing the 1041 in the middle of the year, no supporting documents, no 1099s issued to the entities they're claiming. Just made up numbers, right? So you're going to get in trouble all day. You're going to get in trouble with that all day.
Oh, man.
You have to properly you got to operate just like these corporations are operating.
That's the way the corporations do it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this guy does this dude recognize nationals and all that stuff, too? Does he know about that stuff?
He knows about the certain nationality, but he wasn't up on the passport. Now, that's where we bartered and traded off information. So,
gotcha.
I showed him. I said, this is when we did this, when I went to Houston, Dallas. I was in Dallas. He was there teaching the stuff on what to do, and then when I did my part on nationality, he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But this all goes to
together.
Now, that's why I'm only introducing it to you guys, because I know you did it. You got your passport, and you did it the way I taught, and then I'm going to introduce y'all to the whole process. Now, somebody came on last week was asking me about, well, I've been studying, I've been going to the seminars and this, that, and the other. Nope, you're not going to be a part of that group because you did not do the $1,500 or more. It wouldn't be fair to those people.
Why? I mean, this is the way I see it. You want it done right, go straight to the source, man. It's just like, right. I want it done right. I'm going to get it straight from the horse's mouth. I'm not saying that you're a horse, but saying that, from the source.
Now, one of the arguments
I wouldn't take that chance.
Oh, I've been coming to the seminars. You came to seminars, right?
Yes, sir.
All the other people came to the seminars. I had people where I showed them at the seminar how to do the passport.
Yeah.
And they still came to me and said, I'm going to give you the $1,500 to show me how to do it because I want it done right. They still
the correct way.
And all of those that did it, for the most part. Some people didn't have student loans. But the ones that did, their student loans are going. I got an email just last week. Oh, yeah, man, my student loan's straight. And they sent the message.
Man, there's got to be something in there where there's I don't know what. Something's key.
It's the key is, I think you're supposed to get free education in this country as a national until you're 21.
Oh, I'm past 21.
So most kids finish school by the age of 21. If they, go right after high school, they, I think that's what it is.
And I think that's why your son got
that
done right away too, because he was
underage.
Almost
right away. He was
Oh.
Right away.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Well,
the biggest student loans that I've seen got dropped off was over $300,000.
Wow.
The biggest ones.
Wow.
And I got the proof. They even sent me the letter that
I believe you.
Only reason why I don't show people the letter because, they gave it to me and didn't give me permission to show it. But the Attorney General dropped off and said they weren't pursuing it because they were trying to take them to court to get that money.
Yeah, my student loan, they already sent me a letter saying, because I've been, Akeem, I've been sending letters to these people for over a year, and now they're saying that they're going to send it up to another third party. I'll keep on doing it.
That's what they're going to do. That's normal. That's normal. That's actually a good thing. Once they go to them,
that's how I hit them up too.
Send them a third-party debt collector.
I'll keep
That's
on
how I
doing
got
it.
rid of mine.
Yeah, I think
hit them, and then they sent it to the Department of Education. And then after the Department of Education went to another third party, and that was it. It was gone. After that, they just canceled all the accounts.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm close to that already.
I never got that letter. Oh, we coming after your taxes. None of that.
Yeah, they gave up on me.
Won't happen.
They gave up on me. They ain't gonna get jack from me.
You ain't borrowed no money.
No. And it's funny because they said I asked for proof. They sent me a photocopy of my signature of where when I first did my loan with the federal school loan, whatever the hell it was called. I forgot back then. But I don't have I had a contract with them. I didn't have a contract with the third party that they sold it to. And I put on there no contract. Take that shit back. You didn't even give me what I asked for. You know.
Right.
So, yeah. No,
you just keep hitting them back, and they go away. They can't do anything.
They do.
The letter they give you is not sworn to, so it's not proof.
Exactly.
It's supposed to have another letter attaching with the person's name saying, hey, I researched the records, and this is accurate under penalties and perjury. No one ever does that. They can never take that and come to court and prove that you ever had a loan. Yeah.
I even hit up like the credit unions. I got it off of TransUnion. They took it off. But Equifax and Experian, I send them all kinds of proof, all kinds of letters, man. They just won't take it off. They won't even listen to.
Keep at it.
I keep at it. I keep hitting them up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A lot of times, when people get it off, they open up a suit, and then they just back off once you do that.
See, that's where I need that court experience, that court's smarts. That's why I want to do that.
Well, that software is going to tell you. That class will tell you how to sue properly.
That's what I need to do. That's what I'm going to do. Cool.
Okay.
All right, Akeem. Again, thank you for all your knowledge, and I appreciate you, man. Peace.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Marcos. All right, y'all. It's 8:45. As always, it's been a pleasure to get y'all with this information. Announcement. I got next weekend, not this coming weekend. I'm going to be in Ohio. And go to email.com, get all the information, contact the people there. They're handling all of the affairs for me there. Let me just give you Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. You can contact 614-835-7071 or jtmuse.events@gmail.com. jtmuse.events, events, @gmail.com. Again, the number is 614-835-7071. Columbus, Ohio. That's February 7th and the 8th. It's a 2-day seminar. They'll give you all the pricing when you call them. I think it's about $150 or $200 for 2 days. They got all of the details there. Give them a call. We're going to talk about third-party debt collectors, student loan debt. Is your house in foreclosure? I'm going to be going over that. Understanding your rights, legal versus lawful, private versus public. And I'm going to be going in depth about this whole trust and to get y'all to the point where you can do your 1041 tax returns and all of that. There is a correct way to do it without getting yourself in trouble. But you must have trust. It's actually a 14-step process that you must go through. That's why I'm doing it in private and taking everybody through it. Now, for all of those who have bought the $498 package, which is the webinar for the passport process, if you want to donate the extra $1,000 to that, I will allow you to do that. And then I'll take you through the process of the passport because there's other things that go with that passport that you must do. Then you can get into the private group. But if you haven't done that, you're not getting in there. No, I can't. People who have taken the time and invested in me and trusted in me to do that, to bring someone who has not paid that type of due into this because it's going to be a free forum. They don't have to pay a membership fee to learn how to really be private. You know, people have been running around telling y'all about being private, all this and that. I'm about to show y'all how to really be private and operate 100% out of your trust. This brother that I learned it from, I'm giving him all the credit. He's been doing it for years. For years. And guess what? This man's spouse is in the military. Okay? And they've been operating out of trust 100%. Go buy a car, do it through the trust, and then the next year do the tax return properly. I ain't going to say no more. The rest of the information will be said in the membership. All right. With that being said, peace, blessings. Health and wealth to all. And, of course, I'm going to leave y'all with my favorite Reverend Ike.
Reverend Ike is the founder and senior minister of the United Christian Evangelistic Association, and he is its founder. He is also an author. He has authored Reverend Ike's Secrets for Health, Happiness, and Prosperity for You, and he has a lot of cassette tapes. Also, those will be available, by the way, the book and the cassette tapes, out on the patio when we take a break in about an hour. So all of that's available. He has lectured nationally and internationally. He is very well known. He, about the age of 14, felt something within say, you got to be in service to the Great Spirit. And you've got to teach people how to be wealthy and happy and let their light shine. And so he began his journey at that point doing that very work and has continued to do that. He has a very large church in New York called the United Church, and it has a seating capacity of 5,000 people. Aren't we jealous? Yes. Yes. And he travels all around. He has other works going on in very many places with other leaders. So he's a dynamic person. And I know we're just going to have an excellent time as we enjoy Reverend Ike.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I think it's on. Thank you. Well, good evening. Good evening. I want to thank Dr. Bassett and this very fine congregation for inviting me back to St. Peggy's Cathedral. I don't know what took you so long to invite me back, but I hope it's not this long again. Anyway, we have an interesting subject tonight, and I want to get right into it. I will probably not be using this fantastic podium very much. I'm an evangelist, you know, and I'll be jumping around from lap to lap. I'm going to do this first session, which will be about an hour. Then we'll have a break so that you can buy out all the books and tapes. And then we'll do a final hour to give you your money's worth, if you buy out all the books and tapes. By the way, I'll be autographing all of Reverend Ike's books and tapes at the break and at the end. No papers or programs or napkins, please. only the books and the tapes. All right. We're talking about how to beat the recession and have plenty of money and prosperity. And I want to make sure that you didn't wander in here to the wrong seminar tonight. So everybody who's here tonight, are you interested in having plenty of money and prosperity? Wow, yes you are at the right place tonight. The first thing that I'd like to have you do now is stand. We're going to beat the recession. You can't beat it sitting down. When I did this particular talk at my church in New York, I gave everybody in the congregation a stick. There's a wise guy right there getting ahead of me. But he's right. Guess why I gave everybody a stick? To beat the recession. If you don't beat it, it will beat you. Because you hear about it in the newspaper every day, on radio and on television. And so I decided to take up arms and do something about it from a science of mind point of view. Oh, and by the way, even though I have a subject, I never let my subject interfere with what I have to say. I'm an evangelist, and you know, an evangelist talks about so many different things at one time. So whatever I have to say, I say it whether it's on the subject or not. Now, I want you to get yourself mentally poised for what we came to do tonight. We came to beat a negative idea. We came to take the truth and swing it at the negatives in our own minds so that we do not become mesmerized with the idea of recession. Okay, the first thing that you do to beat this idea of recession is refuse to participate. Suppose they gave a recession and nobody participated. The recession would be a total what? Flop. So we're going to start out with an affirmation here. We're going to start out with a declaration. I was born and raised in the South, and we used to play some little ring games, and in one we would say, put your hands on your hip and let your backbone slip. We're going to get sassy here and make a declaration, and it's important. And it's this. I absolutely refuse to participate in the recession. Come on, put your hands on your hips and say that. I absolutely refuse to participate in the recession. You see, you got to get that attitude going. You know, we hear the expression every once in a while, he's got an attitude, she's got an attitude. It's okay to have an attitude if it's a right attitude. And yet, you know, as you walk through the world, you have to have an attitude. Because your attitude does at least two things. It keeps away things, and it draws things to you. It keeps away that which is not like unto it. If you have the attitude, I'm not going to participate in any recession, well, the recession will run from you. I like the way Paul said it. Be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so one of the things that we want to accomplish in this seminar tonight is to get a mindset that we do not have to participate in the world's thinking. And you're in the right place, because I'm sure you hear plenty of this from time to time. So just before you sit down again, I'm going to have you make this declaration. You're going to put your attitude out there. This is going to be your attitude. I'm not going to participate in any recession. I want you to say it with an attitude. Come on, say it with your body language. Come on. I'm not going to participate in any recession. I don't want anything to do with it. Come on. I refuse it. Instead, I'm participating in success. Prosperity. And infinite money. If you like that, go ahead. That's throwing down the gauntlet. You may be seated for a moment. I did go to theological seminary. And they taught me a little homiletics, whatever that is, hermeneutics. One of the things that they taught me was that you're supposed to define your subject. And so I would like to deal with the definitions for the word recession, money, and prosperity for a moment. Those of you that like to write, this is a good time to write. Not only that, it's a good time to open your study guide, Reverend Ike's study guide. You will find me very subtle. I thought you'd never ask. Page 15, page 81, and page 37 for starters. Those of you who did not yet get a copy of the study guide, you may do so at the break so that you'll have it for the second session. Now let's deal with this term recession for a moment. I find it very interesting. Do you know that recession means going backward? Quite literally. It means to go backward. Who wants to do that? Let me hear you say, I ain't going backward. Recession means going backward to being less, doing less, and having less. I ain't going backward. I'm not going that way. Come on, shake your heads and say it. I'm not going that way. You see, you have to establish your direction in your consciousness. See, many times when people say, well, nothing's happening in my life. Why aren't things working? Well, you ain't saying nothing. You got to say something. You got to say which way you're going. That's affirmation. And sometimes you may need the denial of, well, I'm not going that way. And all of these negative ideas, after a while, if you don't welcome them, they may go somewhere else. Just be sure that you're not the somewhere else for other people's negative ideas. Now, there's a story about recession beginning on page 15. Open your books there. Since you don't have your book yet, I'll encapsulate it for you until you get the book. It tells about a man who himself did not have very much formal education, but he wanted better for a one son that he had. And he was a hot dog vendor. Sold hot dogs from a cart. And he managed to make a fair living for his family and to send his son to college to get an MBA. Where's NATO with the MBA? But anyway, and so his son went to college and learned all of these business theories. And he graduated, he came home and said to his father, he says, Dad, you know, according to what they taught me in school, there's going to be a recession. And people are not going to buy your hot dogs any longer. Things are going to get bad in this economy. And so the man began to think about it. Well, I sent my son to that school to learn about all of these things, so he must know. And so he mentally accepted the idea of a recession. And sure enough, his business began to get bad. And after a while, he was out of business. And he said something that's rather pathetic. He says, well, you know, my son sure is wise predicting these things. It was self-fulfilling prophecy. You see, we are always prophesying. Every one of us is a prophet. There is a prophet in every man, in every mind. As the man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts prophesy your future. The nature of your thoughts. The tendency of your thoughts. I like that verse of Scripture in the Bible that says, the thoughts of the righteous tend only to plenteousness, meaning abundance of good for himself and for everybody else. So we must not become infected with the belief in recession. That's the first thing. We must not accept it. We've got to learn how to deliberately examine the ideas that present themselves to us. That's why it's good to be a student of the science of mind. Because you're taught how to use your mind. You're taught how to examine ideas and what to admit to your thinking process and what not in terms of the good that you desire to be, to do, and to have. Now, let's talk about money for a moment. Let me hear everybody say money. Money! Oh, boy, I'm in the right place. I see there's no money rejection complex around here. You know, I can tell sometimes when I tell people to say money that some people are having problems even saying it. There are about 25 people here who couldn't quite get it out of their mouths this time. We're going to say it again so that I can catch them and exorcise the anti-money demons. I mean, everybody say money. Money. You faked it that time, didn't you? But like the lady says, fake it till you make it. Since I'm talking about money, I'd like to give just a little definition of it. And there's something about that in Reverend Knight's Study Guide, page 81. What page? 81. Boy, I'm telling you, it's a bright group tonight. And it is called, What is Your Financial Psychology? But first, I would like to give my definition. Maybe I could get Terry Hudson to write this on the board over there for your benefit in case you miss it, but you shouldn't miss it anyway. To me, this is my definition for money, and I have many, and I'll probably throw out many of them during the course of this seminar. Basically, money is the energy of the mind. Say that with me. Basically, money is the energy of the mind. And that nice green stuff is really only a symbol of the energy of the mind. The way you use the energy of your mind. Now, I'm going to be talking about money off and on this first hour and the second hour. But there's something about money that I want to tell you that I'm not going to tell you till the second hour after you buy your book. Seriously, I want to tell you something never to say about money again. And I'm going to, don't write that on the board yet. And I'm going to remind me to tell you that when we come back right after the break. But on page 81, what is your financial psychology? There are a couple of passages here that I'd like to share with you. Everything is a condition of the mind. The idea comes first, and then the manifestation of that idea. You can't be, do, or have anything until you first have the idea of it in your mind. That's why in dealing with this idea of recession, this idea of going backward, being less, doing less, and having less, that's why, to begin with, we threw that out of our minds. We disassociated ourselves with it mentally. And the last passage on this that I'll have time to read at this moment. I have discovered some very interesting psychological reasons why people have money problems. Anybody here have ever had money problems? Not anymore. The way you got quiet that time. I guess sometimes they do have money problems. Your problems with money, or your abundance of money for that matter, begin with what I call your financial psychology, which is your attitude toward money. And we're going to be working on this, and in the next session what I would like to do is entertain some questions, and I would like to help those of you who are still having a problem with what I call the money rejection complex to get rid of that so that money can come to you in a more abundant manner. We're going to do some work on that right now, so I'm going to ask you to stand up again. That's so you don't go to sleep on me. Not that you would dare. I just may do that if it gets any hotter here, but they're videotaping this and I want to look cute. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question in the first person, with your body language as well as with your voices, and say, what is my financial psychology? Come on. What is my financial psychology? You know, you really need to write these questions down. Sit down and begin to write. There's another question I want you to write. Don't worry, I'll let you stand up again. The second question is, what do I think and feel about money? We're going to break that question down even further. Do I think and feel that it's wrong to have money? How much money is too much for me to have? Greedy. It's good for you to answer these questions and settle them in your mind. Because in your mind you have to come to peace with money. Now, you've heard me use several times already the term money rejection complex. That indicates attitudes which actually kick money away from people. All day long people think and say things that actually keep money away from them. Because again, I define money as a psychic vibration. And negative attitudes, negative feelings about money will actually kick it away from you. I've had some interesting cases lately at my church in New York where large sums of money were due to people, and for years that money could not come to them. And I've picked up something here already. There are some people in this audience here right now that has some large sums of money that's due to them, but it can't get to them. It can't get to them because of certain negative attitudes about money. I did this at the church in New York, and one lady the next week, she managed $106,000 that had been trying to get to her for over 7 years, got to her that week. Wouldn't you want yours to get to you next week? In the morning, huh? Let me actually ask a question and have you just sort of at random answer. How many of you out there know of some money that's due to you that you've been having difficulty getting? Let me see your hands. Stand up. Those people. We're going to do some work on that right now. See, we have an altar call here, too. You're getting saved now. From the money rejection complex. I want to hear this as a response, and this is to help everybody that's standing. Why do you think it is that you and the money have not yet come together? All at the same time, I can hear you. I need a mic runner. Lady, come here for a moment. This is going to help everybody. You know, I didn't come here just to tell you some good theory. You get good teaching all of the time. But, you know, we've got to have what we call here demonstration, because that's the other part of the teaching. And if we don't have demonstration, then, you know, there's been something wrong with the way that you've received that teaching. You've really got to apply it. Now, why did you say you think that you've had problems getting together with that money that you think's due you?
Well, basically, I haven't seen myself having it, so I don't have it yet. It's like it's out there, and I know it's coming soon, but I haven't opened up for it.
All right, when do you want to open up for it?
Right now.
Why don't we help her open up for it? Are you going to help her open up for it?
Thank you.
And here's good news for all of you. You know, when you help other people, you help yourself at the same time. How do you think I'm so healthy and wealthy? Because I help people prosper. That's what I do all the time. Constantly. And, you know, every day people send me money in telegrams and in letters from all parts of the earth. They send me their tithes and offerings. Because, you see, I teach them to give. And, of course, you know about that here, because that's the way you're building St. Peggy's Cathedral, with your tithes and offerings. You know about the prospering power of giving. Let's all point at her, and we're going to give her a good treatment right now. What's your first name?
Wonderful. It's Sharon.
We're going to talk to her, and remember that when we help her to break a loose, it will break things loose for us also. Sharon? We bless you and love you. We bless you and love you. And we see that big money coming to you. And we see that big money coming to you.
Amen.
We see you with it right now.
We see you with it right now.
Whatever needed to happen on the unconscious, subconscious level, to clear you for that money, we see that it has already happened. And we see you enjoying that money. And it is wonderful. Thank God. Come on.
Thank you.
Whoa, okay, Sharon. All right, you may be seated for a moment. But, you see, she was able to somewhat identify the problem. She said she just couldn't see herself with it. I remember once in Boston when I went there to do a meeting a very well-educated young businessman picked me up in his brand-new green Cadillac convertible to take me to the meeting. And he said to me, he said, you know, last year this time, I couldn't see myself with a car like this. I said, yes, that's why you didn't have it last year this time. And you know, that's just a perfect opening for a commercial. Outside at the break, there is a wonderful tape by Reverend Ike called Your Power of Visualization. Let me hear you say visualization. Visualization. You see, Sharon said she had not received that money because she couldn't see herself with it. And in this tape on visualization, I give you all of the techniques and the actual treatments for visualizing yourself, seeing yourself with good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. And a lot of people have heard these teachings that I've done over the years on visualization, and they have had marvelous, fantastic experiences. When I first started doing this, I used to help people also visualize for vacations, you know, in places in the Caribbean or in Mexico or wherever, and you'll find that here. And I've had people write me letters from hotels in Spain and in other parts of Europe and in other parts of the world who told me that the very first time that they did the visualization with me, that unexpectedly a chain of events came about, and they got the money and the wherewithal to travel. So treat yourself to one of these albums on visualization. When I repackage this, it is going to be retitled something like the Master of Life course, because once you learn the secret of visualization and how to do that, then everything is within your means. Oh, while I'm doing commercials, here's Reverend Ike's tape, Thank God for Money. This is being repackaged as the Master of Money course. What did I say? The Master of Money course. So treat yourself to these. You know, just run up that Amex, Visa, MasterCharge, best thing you could ever put on it. By the way, one of the techniques for beating the recession is by becoming a bookaholic and a tapeaholic. Come on, what are those two terms? Bookaholic and tapeaholic. I said that recession means going backward to being, doing, and having less. But let there be no recession in your mind. Let there be no recession in your thinking. Let there be no recession in your working in the kingdom of your mind. And good church services like these, good classes like we have here, good books and tapes, all of this helps you to do the work in the kingdom of your mind, so that recession cannot take over. Among many other interesting things, Jesus said these words, I must be about my Father's business. Say that. I must be about my Father's business. Say it again while I take a drink of water. I must be about my Father's business. And do you know what the Father's business is? Working in the kingdom of your mind. To keep it on a spiritual basis, to keep it on a positive basis. And let nobody fool you. This is work. Say that with me. This is work. But you learn to love this work. And it's work that you have to do regularly. It's work you have to do every day. Why? Because the world is constantly after your mind. You turn on the TV, what are they after? Your mind. They spend billions of dollars on Madison Avenue making up different commercials. Oh boy, there's the one that tells you not only that you have a headache, but it tells you what kind of headache. You don't have just an ordinary headache. You have an Excedrin headache. Cross that out. The This shows us why we've got to constantly be working in the kingdom of the mind. You've got to constantly be coming to these services, getting into these classes, staying into these books, listening to these tapes. Because what the mind listens to, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, if the mind keeps listening, it will believe. You see, it doesn't matter whether it's true or false, good or bad. If the mind keeps listening, the mind will believe. Say that. If the mind keeps listening, the mind will believe. I have an old cliche that I say all the time, everywhere I go, and it's this: good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. Let's hear it. Good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. Let's hear it again. Good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. Why do I say that? Because I want my mind to keep hearing that. And then it begins to demonstrate that back to you. You see, it's not only a matter of what the world says to you, it's a matter of what do I say to myself about myself. That's a good question to write down. Repeat it after me. What do I say to myself about myself? That's very important. You need to write that down, and you need to go over these questions in the privacy of your own home, of your own mind. You've got to constantly be about the Father's business. All right. Now I want to say something about prosperity in terms of definition. Turn now quickly to page 37. Page 37? Well, looks like I'll have to read it for you again. Till you get out to the break. Let me hear you say prosperity. Prosperity. Doesn't it sound lovely? I mean, the very word, I love it. Prosperity. Prosperity. Now, on page 37. And before I read this, let me give you my definition of prosperity. And all of these definitions are inclusive. To me, prosperity is total well-being. Prosperity is total well-being. Say that. Prosperity is total well-being. Say it again. Prosperity is total well-being. In some of the TV and press interviews that I did over the past couple of days, I didn't know that the press would catch up with me and the media would catch up with me like this. Did you see that front page, first page today? Interesting. Well, go ahead and clap then. Don't patty cake. Go ahead and do it. But the media kept asking me, was all of this greed? Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it is positive greed. Some people ask the question from time to time, Reverend Knight, is it right for some people to have so much while others have so little? I said, well, that's your choice. Don't criticize me for what I choose. I choose to be abundant. And, you know, they used to say to me, well, why do you have so many Rolls Royces? I said, well, they're making them. Somebody's got to have them. Maybe one of the reasons I have so many is because you didn't choose to have one. But even so, you know, whatever we choose, the universe will produce. So everybody is under the verdict of his own choice. And so I don't see it as greed. But I will put in this disclaimer, and I said this as they interviewed me out there, I think it was Channel 9. When it comes to material money and material things, we do not serve these things. These things serve me or us. And as long as you can keep that balance, it is just fine. You see, money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. And you see, and I'm striking a chord with some of you that can't quite handle money yet. You say, that's what I always thought. Do you know why it is a lot of people have problems with money? A lot of people are afraid of money. Write that question on your notes for you to deal with. Am I afraid of money? I want you to examine yourself, y'all, because some of you are. But we're going to cast out that demon of fear of money before we leave here tonight. I tell about this almost every time I do a seminar. In Boston, many years ago, when I was a more flamboyant evangelist doing the healing and blessing meetings, a 75-year-old lady, Pentecostal pastor evangelist, came to my meeting one Sunday night. This dear lady, minister, was really afraid to even pray for what she wanted. She was afraid it would come between her and God. But that one daring moment, I helped her to break loose. And she said, I really want my own house. She gave the money, went home, went to bed. Before she got out of bed the next morning, the head of the trustee board called her. They called her Mother and said to her, Mother, there's a new housing development in the suburbs here. Beautiful houses. And I and the trustees had an informal meeting, and we were talking to the members, and we have decided that we're going to buy you a brand new house in that new development. And we want you to get up. We're going to come and get you and take you out there and let you pick the one that you want. Before sundown that very day, the next day after the night when she risked praying for what she wanted, after many years of suffering without it, before the sun went down, she had her own house. And invited me out there. I used to go out to see her when I was stationed in Boston back in the 60s. And I remember the first time I went out to visit and to have dinner with her in a new house. When we drove up, there was a brand new Buick Electra 225 sitting up in the driveway. And you know how I can be. I walked in and I started teasing. I walked over and I kissed her and I said, Mother, I said, are you enjoying this beautiful house? Is this beautiful house coming between you and God? She said, no, son. I can serve God a lot better in my own house. You know, people say to me, Reverend Ike, all the stuff that you've got, does it come between you and God? I said, no. Do you realize how well you can praise God sitting in the back of a Rolls-Royce Phantom 5? I sit in the back of one of those Phantom 5s going down the road, just praising God. Oh, how I love Jesus. Well, anyway, let's go back to the lady pastor's house. I said, Mother, I saw a brand new Buick 225 sitting in a driveway out there. I says, whose is that? She said, well, son, when you taught me how to ask for the house, and I saw how fast that worked and that didn't come between me and God. I said, well, God, while you're giving me the house, it's got a carport. Give me something to put under it. Sometimes I may hire a new driver that's from that's from out here where you folks are laid back, you know. And so when they're first driving in the city of New York, they're stopping for pedestrians and... I usually say, hey, son, wait a minute, let me tell you something. I says, don't run over anybody. You just make them think you would. if they got in your way. Well, anyway, how did I get on all that? Well, anyway, I was teasing her. I said, well, Mother, does that brand new Buick Electra 225 come between you and God? She said, no, son. I get to my preaching appointments more relaxed and rested when I have a decent car to ride in. Now, there's some people here now, and I want to deal with that before we close this session. I want to deal with that. I want to deal with this fear that you've had of getting what you want. You see, you've got to become at one with yourself. If you say you want to prosper, you got to clear all the fears about it. Some of you weren't even aware that you were afraid of what you wanted. This dear lady, she was aware that she was afraid of having her own nice house. She says, well, maybe I wouldn't love the Lord too much. But, I really never could understand that. I can always love God better when I've got money to pay my bills and meet my needs and money to enjoy. I can really love the Lord then. But anyway, who is it here? You're aware now that there's some good that you've been wanting, but you've really been afraid of it. Stand up. Let's help you. Oh, and by the way, at the end of the last session, we'll have baptism in the parking lot. Now, this will help not only you, but this will help everybody. When you say you want something, you got to realize that certain responsibilities come along with it. A lot of people don't want the responsibility. A lot of people are afraid of the responsibility. I remember not too long ago at the church in New York, I said, how many of you single women here would like to have a husband? Oh, they put their hands up. How many of you would get out of bed and fix his breakfast? That is chauvinistic. If you don't want to get up and fix his breakfast, just marry one who can hire somebody to fix your breakfast. But everything has responsibility, and some people are really afraid of that responsibility. I want somebody to tell me real quickly, all of you at the same time, why do you perceive that you've been afraid of getting what you want? Okay, write something down for me real fast, Terry. I've heard some of the feedback here. Afraid of other people's reaction. Now that's a big one. Say it again. I heard a couple of other things I want to deal with. Oh, afraid I may not lose it. Afraid I may lose it. Fear of loss would be another. I want to deal with this. Be seated for a moment. Let's work on this. A lot of people are afraid of other people's reaction to them being, doing, and having the good that they desire. Some of them are aware of it and some are not. I heard that here from several people. That is one of the things that you got to break through. Other people's attitudes and ideas. I'll tell you something else. Once you really begin to evolve spiritually and in terms of prosperity, I'm going to be very frank with you. And once you start hanging around teaching like this, a lot of your friends and relatives are likely to drop off. Excuse me, St. Peggy, for telling them the secret. Art Linkleiter had a show one time titled People Are Funny. None of you kids remember that. They are. If you be nothing, do nothing, and have nothing, they'll say, look at her, she ain't got nothing. Then if you get to work and be something, do something, and have something, they'll say, look at her, she thinks she's so much. You got to get unhung from that cross of other people's thinking. Reverend Ike says this, I am not other people's opinions. Let's hear it. I am not other people's opinions. Divorce yourself from that. But that's what keeps a lot of people. They're afraid of other people's opinions. They're afraid of what relatives would say, what friends would say, even afraid of what strangers would think. And then there's the fear of loss. They don't want it because they're afraid they might lose it. I had an interesting case of that in New York City some years ago. I used to walk down the aisle before the services to talk to the people. One young lady said to me, Reverend Ike, pray for me to get a job. I said, you've got it. She came back the next week and she was smiling and she said to me as I went down the aisle, oh, Reverend Ike, I got the job. I got the job. She said, but Reverend Ike, I want you to pray for me that I don't lose my job. See why I told you have to cuss if you preach in New York? So there she was, glad in one moment that she got the job and fearing that she'd lose it with almost the same emotion. But you got to unhang yourself from this. Let's all stand up now. Let's do some work before we close this session. Somebody said something else. And this I want to work with in the next session. Undeserving feeling. Put that there for me, Terry. That is possibly the worst bummer. How many of you have problems with, let's have some more confession. How many of you really have problems with this business of feeling like you deserve? Turn around and look at all those sinners. Put your hands down. That's all right. Baptism, as I said, is right after in the parking lot. Undeserving feeling. That is a bummer. All right, I got to cut you loose from that particular thing right now. I can't let you. That demon has to be exorcised. There is only one reason that you deserve all goodness and all of God's goodness, and there's a whole chapter on that in the book. What page is it on, Terry? Find it real fast. About deserve. You deserve all of God's goodness. That's the title of it. You can find that yourself. That's a chapter you need to get and you need to work on. But that, I think, is the most insidious attitude, whatever insidious means. What does that mean anyway? I heard some highfalutin speaker use that term. And people get that mostly from religion. There are two religious songs that I'll mention. There's one song that a religious science practitioner in New York tells about because it's in his religious background before he came into religious science. And he said it's the hymn whose words are, Lord, I am not worthy thy blessings to receive. Now that's when you feel like cussing and saying, oh, hell. Sit down for a moment. We're going out in a moment. You need to hear this. This will cast out the devils of undeservedness. There is only one reason that you deserve all of God's goodness. Let me approach it negatively for a moment. It's not because you are either good or bad. So that relieves you. of the burden of trying to be good. I don't trust people that are too good. You know why? Because they're under stress. And somewhere, sometime, somehow, it's gonna snap. And there's gonna be hell to pay. Stay out of striking distance of real good people. Reminds me of the group of Salvationists who were holding a street meeting on the corner to save souls. And, you know, there was the drummer and the people who were playing different instruments in the band, and they would sing the song and give their testimony. Finally, everybody sang and gave testimony, and it came time for the little old lady in the back that beats the drum to give her testimony. So she said, well, I used to drink, but I don't no more. She said, I used to cuss, but I don't no more. She used to go to the movies, but I don't no more. After a while, after she made a list of what she doesn't do anymore, she finally stopped and said, in fact, I don't do anything but beat this damned old drum. Now, that's the kind of good that we're talking about here, but you deserve all of God's goodness, not because you are good and not because you're bad. And I'll tell you, and being bad doesn't even disqualify you. Ooh, I shouldn't have told some of you that because you're going to get worse. No, that's not license. But being negative, you see, will hinder you from receiving the good that you deserve.